Alright, we are back. So, yeah, yesterday was interesting. So, no leg day video for actually two reasons. One, I didn't realize till I got back home, but basically I was still feeling pretty crappy. So I was like, okay, I'm not sure how this is gonna go, but basically I just didn't want to record a shitty lift, or a crappy lift. So, but it actually ended up going. I did get a pretty good quad pump, I'll say that, but yeah, it wasn't until like towards the end where I was like, yeah, I'm feeling pretty bad, but I think we're out of the clear now, so that's good. But and then the other reason though that I didn't realize till it was either till the next morning after I woke up, or it was when I got back home. But I mean, either way, it doesn't. What happened was that I left camera battery on my desk, so I forgot to put the battery in my camera, which means I wouldn't have been able to record anything. Oh, and I mean, I would have like normally recorded a pose down, but I was just feeling so bad to the point that, and pretty tired to the point that I was just like, I just want to get out of here. I don't even want to. I even take the time to pose down myself. Yeah, I was done. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I just want to go home and eat something and go to bed. So, but yeah, we're definitely feeling better today, so, and definitely got a really good pump. So yeah, I'm feeling way different and way better today, so that's good. But anyway, so, and then there was something else. Oh yeah, so I would have done a car talk like on the way to the gym, but I was just so focused on getting all my stuff packed up that it wasn't until I started driving that I was like, oh, I didn't set the tripod up. Whoops. So yeah, I was just locked in on getting here because I was already somewhat late. So anyway, but it's all good. So I actually finished way earlier than normally, so that's cool. But anyway, oh, I think like honestly more like starting yesterday, but definitely today was really noticeable. I think my strength has started to finally decline. So yeah, I think prep is finally hitting me. So yeah, because I went to do my normal sets of 65 on incline dumbbell, and I want to say the first set I only ended up getting 8. It was either I failed on the 8th one or I like failed going for the 9th one. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, the second set I want to say I only got what was it? Or no, I went and grabbed the 60s after that, and then yeah, I finished out with the 60s. So And then on the last set, I just decided to do a rest pause because I want to say I only got like 5. And then, yeah, I took a 10-second rest pause period, and then went back at it for another 3. Almost failed the 8th one, but I got lucky. Well, I say I got lucky, but I pushed through. So anyway, but yeah, I definitely think my strength has started to decline now, so it's good that I didn't it didn't hit me like midweek, because then it would be hard to, it would be more difficult to, you know, kind of figure out where I'm at with things. So like, rather than me starting out on a leg day, then like basically I know I can expect, you know, next push day to be basically my normal weight's feeling heavier than they have been. So anyway, but yeah, now I know to, you know, test the waters with my normal weight first and then see where I get. So yeah, but we'll blast right through the plateaus or whatever when we start bulking again, so we'll see, but that's in the future. So anyway, but yeah, other than that, great workout. Everything felt pretty good. Yeah, no, everything felt pretty good. I did one of the pec decks today, and I was like, it kind of felt good, and then towards the end I was like, yeah, that's how it normally is for me, but every now and then I get like one good time where it's like, it feels amazing. So I think we'll just keep it in the loop for now, or do like, try out the other 2 and the coming or like next Thursday, try out one or the other and see which one I like. So anyway, yeah, we'll see what happens, but it kind of makes sense though, of how last push day I was looking pretty crazy, and then, you know, when was that I had stomach situation like day? No, wait, that would have been, yeah, that was Tuesday, never mind, I don't know what I'm thinking. But yeah, no, it makes sense for me to look crazy, and then boom, strength starts to decline. So kind of adds up, because the further I go with prep, the more like shredded and crazy I'm gonna start looking. So yeah, but other than that, that's all I got. So I'll see you in the car. All right. So all right. Yeah, I still have no idea what, well, I do, kind of. I mean, I have a suspicion, but it's really just a suspicion. It's not really based on anything. Honestly, I still don't even know if, like, it's true or not, but basically, last time I went to the store, I wasn't paying attention to like the name on the labels of chicken, and I was just looking for this specific brand. I wasn't really looking at you know, what I wanted. But it kind of looked the same. Only difference was in the packaging, but I thought I didn't really pay attention to that difference that much, and for some reason, I don't know why, I just didn't even look at the name. The name of like what the product was. But anyway, I ended up accidentally buying chicken tenders instead of, well, I bought 3 things of chicken tenders, and then I bought 3 things of chicken. I managed to actually buy chicken breasts. So my intention was to buy chicken breasts, not chicken tenders. So yeah, the chicken tenders were a complete accident. But anyway, so basically what I think happened is I accidentally very, very slightly undercooked them. And they might have, that's what screwed my gut over. But yeah, it's still, I mean, I'll admit I still kind of felt a little off today, but it was definitely better than yesterday, and it was way better than Tuesday. I'd take just about, I take feeling like this, how I did today, over how I did on Tuesday and even Wednesday. I mean, obviously. But yeah, so that's my suspicion, but I definitely don't think I had like salmonella, however you say it. I definitely don't think I had that, because I would have been like feeling the same, if not getting worse, for multiple days. So considering I've been progressively feeling better by the day, I definitely don't think I have salmonella at all. So but overall today, definitely good workout. Just kind of sucks that my strength is starting to decline now, but hey, I've been expecting it for the longest time, so I'm just surprised it took as long as it did to finally like start, declining. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting for me to like start, go to hit a weight, and then I can't do as many reps with it or something. But yeah, I'm very surprised at how long it took before that happened. So at the same time though, it was kind of cool, like having a temporary strength boost. It was kind of interesting. But anyway, so Okay. Sorry, it took me, I was thinking about something in my head, and okay, I figured it out. Basically it had to go into this specific topic. So, I think rather than specifically talking about like the loneliness of self-improvement, why not just talk about, well, okay, I guess that actually made sense. Wait. I was gonna say, why not just talk about self-improvement as a whole, but that's a pretty big topic. So, who knows? We might finish it by the time I get back, we might not. But anyway. So, I think I'll keep it at loneliness of self-improvement, because, yeah, self-improvement in itself is a pretty generally big topic, so not something you can exactly cover in a short time. But anyway, so here's how I've always looked at self-improvement is, you know, everyone's always like, you know, now I'm not saying don't do this, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't do this, but everyone's always like, you know, you gotta help others, you know, you gotta be, if you don't help others, you know, you're not a good person. In order to be a good person, you gotta help others. Basically, like, rather than self-improvement, you're trying to improve others. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying be a dick and, like, don't help people at all, but my kind of philosophy, or I guess idea, in my mind has always been, if you can't help yourself, then how bruh, yeah, bitch. Anyway, there was a deer, sorry. Trying to make it run away, but it just stood there and stared at me like an idiot. But anyway, so yeah, my thing has always been, how are you gonna help other people if you can't help yourself, right? Because it's like, if you haven't built yourself up in any sort of way, how exactly, like, what do you have to give? Like, you don't really have anything to give. You don't really have any, I guess, knowledge in any sort of thing. And that's not really equating to, like, a pure knowledge, but at the same, well, actually no, it actually is. Never mind, because regardless, like, in order to, what do you, bro? It's your dog. And we're on the wrong side of the road. Good job, bud. Old entitled people, man. Anyway. Because regardless, now self-improvement isn't just always, like, specifically going to the gym, or, like, it's not always about physically, it's also about mentally too. Now that's not just saying, like, you know, through, well, actually no, that is, like, through discipline, regardless of whether it's, you know, you trying to, like, physically improve, or, like, knowledge, intelligence, improve that. Regardless of that, you still need discipline, which goes back to the whole discipline conversation. But I mean, shit, I've been on my whole self-improvement journey for the last however many years. And at the same time, though, what I think is just that over time, it just kind of does something to you where, okay, where like at first, when you first start out on your self-improvement journey, you know, you're still wanting to be social and interact with people. But it's like over time, the more invested in yourself you get, the more kind of withdrawn you've become. And I mean, to me, that's at least true for me. So, like, I've noticed that over the years, I've withdrawn from everything. Well, not everything, but from more so being like social and wanting to go out and stuff, which is probably like why I don't, you know, go out and party and drink and do drugs and smoke and all that shit, all that stuff. So, now don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean like I haven't, you know, I haven't just like not talked to anyone. That's not true at all. I mean, yeah, I still interact with people, but at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna let, you know, the second you start putting someone over yourself, eventually you're gonna be screwed. And that's just objectively true. Because if you're not putting yourself first, well, if you're not putting yourself second, and, well, I say second for me because I'm a Christian, so I put my faith in God first. So, myself second, and then whatever comes after that. So, that's all I know is my faith is first and I'm second. And that's what I prioritize. And, you know, not someone. Thought someone was like walking through the yard. I was like, whoa, but that's just a tree pointing at a light. It's a light pointing at a tree. Now, like with me, you know, that's just everything that comes with me, basically. So like, you know, my gym time, my eating, what I do in my spare time, like what I do when I'm not, you know, when I'm not training, you know, stuff like that, basically. Now, it's like, there are some things where, you know, that are kind of minuscule, where it's like, you know, there are times when it's like, okay, you know, there's nothing wrong with like going to some sort of social event every once in a while, but at the same time, don't put that above, like, if that's during your training, then either train before that, like, whatever event, like, train earlier in the day or something if, like, the event is in the evening, or if that, especially, now, in the case of bodybuilding, when it comes to being on top of your eating, that's when it's like, you know, stuff gets shut out more, and it's like, you start going to things a lot less. But, I mean, with me, I've never really been a social person. I've never really had much interest in that. I've always taken interest in improving myself, and hey, I would say self-improvement is going to take you a lot further than in trying to improve other people. So, now why self-improvement? You know, the loneliness of self-improvement. Well, I would say I mean, reasons why it can be lonely is the reason why it can be lonely is that, you know, self-improvement becomes about you. It's not about other people. So when you take other people out of it, what are you left with? You're left with you. So that's kind of where that loneliness aspect comes in. Now, that's where, you know, you gotta take pride in what you do. You gotta also you gotta be able to enjoy, you know, what you're doing. Because if you don't, then, I mean, you're just not gonna continue, you're just not gonna be, the progress that you're gonna make is gonna be it's gonna take longer. Now that even depends on if you continue investing in self-improvement at all, or if you just like cut it out completely. If you're an extrovert and, you know, you need social interaction. Now, at the same time, you know, like I said, that doesn't mean like, you know, you can't, you know, meal prep and take your meals with you to places and whatnot and, you know, eat on the go and whatever. Now, that also depends on what you're eating, obviously. But yeah, definitely the second, I would say self-improvement is the only reason I am where I am, like now, today, because for the last however many years I've been putting myself before anyone else, and it's gotten me pretty decent results. And I mean, now that I understand like what it takes to even, like what it takes to prep and be on top of your meals with that, I'm going to tell you right now, this coming bulk is going to be insane, which I'm already excited for, but I don't want to think about that right now, because, you know, the more I think about the end result, the more you kind of, basically, it's like hiking up, it's like hiking up a mountain, right? You know, start walking up the mountain, or no, start hiking up the mountain, you know, whether it's just you or, you know, like you got a buddy with you. It's like you get halfway and you start talking about food or something and how good some food would feel, or yeah, how good like food would be in that moment. And then you start getting in your head like, man, I really want to eat something. Man, I really want to eat something. Man, I really want to eat something. And then you start getting tempted, like, you know, is the climb, do I even want to continue this, or do I want to go back down, right? Because you know that, you know, however long it takes you to get halfway, you're going to have to add another half onto that, and then add, you know, however long it took you to actually get up there, add that on there, and then that's how long it's going to take. So, like, if it takes you to get 30 minutes up a mountain, right? I must be schizophrenic. If it takes you to get 30 minutes up a mountain, right? And and you know, that's when you start talking about shit, or not shit, sorry. That's when you start talking about stuff, right? And you know, you're like thinking, you know, about the food, and you're getting in your head, and it's like, okay, you know, out of 30 minutes to even get up to the destination, the top, and then add a whole nother hour to get back all the way back down. And that's how long it's gonna take till you know, are able to get food again. And you know, basically all because of a simple conversation about food, you forgot about not even climbing up the mountain, but you've forgotten about the destination. You forgot why you even started. And it's like, now all you want to do is just turn back and get some food. And it's like, you know, can't, basically where I was trying to go with this, where I was going to go with this, was, don't, you know, get in your head about certain things, and then not only forget about the destination, but why you started. And another way to continue reaching your destination, excuse me, another way, I would say probably one of the best ways to continue after your destination, whatever that is, and even blow past the destination, is enjoy the climb, essentially. So, you know, don't just think about how bad you want to reach the top. Think about how, you know, how beautiful the scenery is, and on the way up the mountain, and you know, basically learn to fall in love with climbing up the mountain. And that's true for a lot of things, at least things that are a process or take time, or I mean, even a workout, not even just like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, anyway, I feel not so smart now. Anytime I like moved my arm, I would notice it in my rear view mirror, because the window is reflecting this kind of area down here, and I kept thinking, the first time I saw it, I thought it was like someone going by, and then I saw it again, so I thought it was someone going by. I was like, wait. And then I realized what it was. I was like, oh, okay. But, you know, it doesn't even have to be something as extreme like a long-term goal. It can simply be like one workout, you know. Learn to fall in love, learn to enjoy that feeling and how you feel when you're working out. Because if you do that, you're going to want to keep doing it. And, you know, whether you have a goal of like, I mean, whether you're just working out to work out, or whether you have the goal of like, you know, losing weight or getting bigger, or even something like a goal as big as, you know, becoming Mr. Olympia. I mean, you know, you gotta learn to, that's a hell of a climb right there. Not to downplay other goals. But anyway, I kind of went off topic with that one. But yeah, anyway, so, but that learning to love the climb is in itself, that is discipline, essentially. That is basically what discipline is. And again, having a routine can help with that tremendously. But anyway, I don't even know how I got from self-improvement to talking about that, but yeah, with self-improvement comes a lot of discipline, especially if you want to exceed at both the physical and mental, or like knowledge side of both aspects of self-improvement, basically. So, and I mean, really, the only way to do it is you just gotta, now when I say this, it's not a literal pill for the ones that don't know, but you just gotta take the black pill and lock in. You gotta focus on you and yourself and what you want to do. Because again, second you start putting others above you is when your improvement goes down here. So, and just keeps declining the more you put other people above yourself, and it's just going to keep declining. And the more like you're in the concept of, and in the aspect or concept of the gym, you're gonna, the more you don't work out, the more you don't focus on your eating or even think about what you're eating, the more your body is gonna go down and go down and go down, and over time you're just gonna look more like crap. And I mean, depending on how your body is, either get fat or get skinny, or well, not get skinny, but anorexic. Now that's just if you don't eat, but I would say you'd probably just end up having a dad bod if you're not like prone to being overweight easily. So but yeah, the reason, so the loneliness of self-improvement is really, well, all it is because you're focusing on you, and is because you're focusing on you, and you gotta shut out everything else. So you gotta shut out other people. And now that's at least for, like, I would say the beginning stages of it. Like now, I've had people, come up to me and, talk to me about stuff, and I've also taken the time to go up to other dudes that are like, but, asking them about advice because they were bigger or just insanely strong or something, and I would, ask them about whatever. But, I've had people come up to me and ask me questions, and I take the time to help them out, or I'd like give them my Instagram or something, and then I'd give them my Instagram or something, and then we'd chat about whatever, whether that's like gym stuff, or the mental side of things, or just whatever, or if they're going through a tough time and how to get out of that, But yeah, self-improvement as a whole, really, you just gotta, you know, become black-pilled and focus on you for a while, and then over time, that's when you can start. I mean, it's not even you starting to, it's that people will come to you. Because once you've invested in yourself long enough, then it's like, and you either look good or you're, you know, insanely smart or whatever, you know, people are going to come up to you and ask you like, hey, how did you do this? You know, how did you make it happen? Or, you know, they'll ask you like, how did I, when I say I'm like referring to like someone else asking someone something, someone a question, but like, you know, how did I, or how do I like do this? How do I get my life in order or whatever? And, you know, they're basically, you become a magnet for advice because people can see or just sense that. I mean, if you do it long enough, people are going to notice. But some people just have like an aura, and or like a vibe about themselves, and you can tell like there's something different about that guy versus, you know, the 6 million other people in the room. So anyway, but you know, if you're wanting to change your life, take the black pill and you know, whether that's again knowledge based or physically based, either way, you still gotta take the black pill and focus on yourself. So, and you know, you can't be pleasing others, you can't put others' events or whatever above your own. You know, you gotta be able to, if something interferes with, if someone else's event or whatever interferes with your training, you gotta be able to say, you know, hey, I can't go to this, I can't make it, or I'm not gonna be able to do this for whatever reason. You know, you gotta be able to, you gotta find the heart to say no. And sometimes that's gonna suck in some cases more than others, especially if you're emotionally, you know, you have more, you're more emotionally sensitive and you care about people more, and what they say and what they think and whatnot. You know, it might suck more, like as far as, you know, it might nag on your heart or your emotional side more of like, you know, if I say no to them, you know, oh, what are they gonna think of me? It's like, that in itself right there is when you gotta be like, you gotta realize that right there is putting someone else above you, and you just can't do that. And then it's like, these people, you know, all these people are wondering, you know, why am I not, you know, reaching my goals? And then you look at their daily lifestyle and you see exactly how much they have in order, or how much they have out of order. And most of it, I would say majority of people, it's because they're not actually wanting to improve themselves. They're not on that self-improvement journey. And then you do have the people that are on, that they are on the self-improvement journey. They have taken the black pill and they decided to, pursue self-improvement. And it's like, now those people, it's usually like a discipline problem or something along those lines. And that's, that goes back to my other videos about discipline and whatnot. But yeah, once you start putting yourself first or second, depends on what you believe. Once you start putting yourself first or second, you will, especially like when it's years of doing it, you will definitely see change. And that includes like the knowledge realm of things as well. You'll figure out, you'll see that, oh wow, I've become smarter in this area. I know a lot more than I used to. Or like, if you want to learn a language, if you've been doing it for a while, then you actually stay true to it, you're going to learn that language. And you're going to be like, wow, I've come a long way since, day one of trying to learn this and, learned a new thing. But, yeah, you just gotta, really what you gotta do is, you just gotta be black-pilled about things and realize that's how it has to be. And if not, then, when, your life's over. Am I autistic or what? I think I might actually be autistic. Sorry. Anyway, that was completely random. That was completely random. Bro, what? I don't know anymore. Anyway. I don't know. I'm seeing random stuff. Anyway. Yeah, you just gotta realize, and I would say, you gotta learn to be stoic about things too, because I would say stoicism plays a huge, it definitely helps with staying true to self-improvement. Even the, parts of stoicism that I have pursued, it's helped me stay true to what I want to do, and like realizing how certain things have to be, and also just being able to kind of accept certain things and realize some things just gotta end, and some and other things you gotta begin, because if you don't begin it, then And sometimes you got to be able to realize like what needs to be cut out, because if you don't cut it out of your life, and you keep doing it, or you keep engaging that behavior or activity or whatever, it's gonna, eventually, it's gonna seep into other areas of your life and screw you over time. Screw you over time. Yeah. I'm out of it today. Some things might be more difficult than others, especially with like things like addiction to all the things you can be addicted to nowadays. Some things are definitely going to be harder to quit than others. So, but at the end of the day, it's you either cut it out or, well, to simply put it, you're fucked. So, anyway. But, so, now, again, that's not to say, don't be a dick and, like, not help someone with something. That's another thing, is, like, pursuing self-improvement, but still being humble at the end of the day about things. Now, there are some things where it's, like, it's okay to have pride in what you're doing, but when you become, like, overly prideful, like, for instance, I have pride in, well, I have pride in a couple things, but this is mainly all about the physical stuff. But I have pride in a decent amount of things, like, the fact that I've been improving myself and been working on improving myself over the years. I have pride in that. I've stayed true to that for so long. I need to go to bed. I have pride in that I've stayed true to it for so long. I have pride in the fact that, I go to the gym every night compared to the people that go to the club every night and get wasted and ruin their bodies, and their minds. I take pride that I improve myself rather than destroying myself, essentially, for that one. But at the same time, like, I wouldn't say I'm not like constantly boasting. I'm not constantly boasting about it. Only time I ever mention it, the only time I ever mention it is when I speak about it. That's about it. Otherwise, I'm not, like, going out there every day, like, or I'm not saying, like, oh yeah, I'm better than that dude, because, I do this instead of, drinking and whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm not going out and, like, saying that every single day and every single conversation I have. Again, I only speak about it. I only really say something when, the topic comes up. And even if the topic comes up, only really unless I'm like speaking directly about like what I do with my life. And there have been times when I've been like asked if I wanted to join doing something. I'm like, no, I'm good. Or been offered something. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't do that. And that's about really where I'll leave it. But anyway, all that to say, don't be so overly prideful about it to the point where you're like, you don't, like, you wouldn't, I guess, associate or help out that person because of, how they may, what they do with their lives. That, ideally, me personally, I'm going to try and, not try, I'm going to, carefully insert, what I think and what I do into their lives, and essentially try and assist them to come out of that not so great lifestyle, and just keep putting keep saying like a little bit of things like, I don't even know what, but just keep carefully assisting them, and really just hoping that over time, they make a change in some aspect. And whether they do that on their own, or like whether they like make the choice on their own and they wake up to realize what is ruining them, or they wake up to, or they, and like later down the line, they eventually reach out and say, hey, all the little things of encouragement over the years helped me to quit what I was doing, and I've gotten to this place that I'm at now and whatnot. Or if they immediately come out and say that, like, hey, your encouragement helped me to quit this or quit that, and or your encouragement helped me to start going to the gym, and I just started like last week or something. That's ideal, I guess, is where I'm going with that. But don't be adverse to helping people. But at the same time, don't let that get in the place of what you need to do. And some people view that as vanity, but really what I have to say about that is, where are they at? More often than not, and this is going back to the whole putting yourself first or second. Before other things and other people and whatnot. Some people view that as vanity, and it's like, where are they at? More often than not, they're not doing better than you are. So, but anyway, I would say start your self-improvement if you're wanting to start as soon as you can. Because otherwise you're going to realize that you've basically done, you know, nothing with yourself, essentially. But yeah, just gotta be black pilled and be stoic about it and realize what needs to be done. So, and this also connects with my change talk as well. Holy shit, I've been talking for an hour. Wow. Wow. Whoops. But yeah, anyway, so that's kind of where I'll leave it off. I was trying to figure out some sort of closing statement, but that's as good as I'll be able to get without going into something else and making it another hour long. But anyway, as far as tomorrow goes, tomorrow is pull day. Tomorrow's the lap buys pull day. These lap buys pull days have definitely been working, so that's cool to see. But anyway, yeah, other than that, that's all I got. I'll see you tomorrow for that.